Hi there, this is David, and welcome to New RPG News. We have a lot of stuff to talk about this week, from Final Fantasy XVI, to the Legend of Heroes series, to the long-running Ys series, to Harvestella, which is coming out really soon, and some pretty neat limited editions. But first things first, let's start with Final Fantasy XVI and the new trailer that has dropped, Ambition. The trailer is roughly 4.5 minutes long, it's playing right above me, and we learn quite a bit about the world of Final Fantasy XVI. Essentially, the world is kind of dying, and they need to relight the crystals. So the crystals have come back, to take that tagline from Final Fantasy IX over 20-something years ago. And I've always been a fan of traditional, classic, retro JRPGs. Like the Four Crystals, that's the sort of stuff that I like. I like that sort of thing. So hopefully they are able to evoke that kind of retro feeling with this game, but from what I've seen, not so much. But let's get to that in a minute. First things first, in the trailer, we do learn about 5 different kingdoms, and they're kind of warring and trying to get the crystals for themselves. We learn a little bit more about our protagonist, Clive, his little brother Joshua, he's trying to protect, and we learn about some new characters here as well. We also have a message from the producer, and he says, with regards to development, the team has turned the corner and entered the home stretch. It's currently concentrating its efforts on debugging, tweaking, polishing, and optimization. So the game is essentially done, and they're just trying to polish it and make it the best game that it possibly can be, which is great because now they have, 8-something months to get this game optimized and just really, really good. And that also gives me 8 months to get a PS5 so I can play this stupid thing. So over the next couple of weeks, they're going to be doing some interviews as well and talking more about Final Fantasy XVI. So we'll be learning even more information about it. We have some new characters, Dion Lesage. He is the Crown Prince of the Holy Empire of Sambrake, and he's the leader of the Dragoons, but he also might be a bard as well. So, yeah, kind of interesting Dragoon/bard right there. Now we have Barnabas, kind of looks like a Dark Knight to me. So, yeah, we have some new characters here, although it looks to me like you only control Clive in kind of a Devil May Cry, action-y combat, which to me is not Final Fantasy. They should leave that to Strangers of Paradise. If they wanted to do that action, combat, that sort of stuff, make its own spin-off thing. Leave Final Fantasy turn-based. Maybe I'm an old man yelling at a cloud or something, but that's the Final Fantasy that I know and love. That's the Final Fantasy that I've been playing since 3rd grade on the NES, the very first one. That's the way it should be. It should be a party of 4 or 5 characters, and you're using the active time battle. That's what I like. That's what I like. I mean, this looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks pretty sweet, but is it Final Fantasy? I don't know. Only time may tell. I'm trying to reserve judgment, not judge a book by its cover, but I want it to go back to its roots. That's just me. That's just me, though. Now, as we all know, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Zero just got released. I just opened up my limited edition package of that, but Azure now has a release date. This is the sequel to Zero and the conclusion of the Crossbell duology. It is launching March 14th in North America, March 17th in Europe. As much as I loved Zero, I will say that Azure is even better. If you have not yet gotten into the Legend of Heroes series, Zero is a pretty decent place to start. It is the beginning of a duology. The first place to start obviously would be Trails from the Sky, but if you start from the very beginning at this point, you might really be left behind because there's so many games. So you could start at Zero and then get into Azure and then play your Cold Steel series in preparation for Reverie coming up as well. It wouldn't be a horrible place to begin. But yeah, truth be told, I think that Zero and Azure are probably the 2 best games in the entire series. So I am looking forward to that. Even though I've played the game before, back when it was first translated by the Geofront on the PSP. I just got to throw my support behind this, put my money where my mouth is as far as this is concerned. Now let's talk some Ys news. We have quite a bit of news as far as this series is concerned. Ys 9 Monster from Nox is now coming out for the PS5 in spring of 2023. It's already available for the PlayStation 4, the Switch, and the PC, and I purchased it for the PlayStation 4 back when it was first released, and I do believe that it is one of the best games in the entire series. It's right up there with Ys 8. I like it just the teensiest, tiniest bit more than Ys 8, actually. It's really mysterious. It's a darker take on the Ys series. Takes place all in like this prison city. There's like 2 different Adolfs going on. He kind of has to like turn into demons and stuff, and then he gets to like explore the city and like zip around like Spider-Man or something. It's a really cool game. It's a really cool take on a tried and true formula. So there are pre-orders for the limited edition out, which we're going to look at in just a minute on the NIS America online store. It's $90. It includes a copy of the game, official soundtrack CD, prequel short novel, The Lost Sword, an art card collection, a 200-piece puzzle, and a collector's box. So that's quite a lot of stuff for $90, considering the game itself is probably going to cost $60, so it's $30 more, and you get all that kind of good stuff. So to me, that's not bad. That's not a bad deal as far as I am concerned. But like I've said before, I don't have a PS5, and I've already have it for the PS4. So will I be double dipping in this? Probably not. But I thought that, I'd bring it to y'all's attention because, hey, great series, great game. Now I'm looking at this article on Noisy Pixel that says that Ys 10 was planned to release this year to celebrate the series' 35th anniversary. But as we all know, it has not been released. But there is a little bit of information here in regards to what to expect for Ys 10. So the president of Nihon Falcom, Kondo, says we had plans to release Ys 10 this year to commemorate the 35th anniversary, but due to various considerations, we were unable to do so. It's still under development, and not much information can be released at this time. But I will say this: Ys 10 will see a complete renovation of the traditional battle system, unlike 7, 8, and 9, all of which use the same style. And Adolf's Age will have a surprising arrangement for older players. Yeah, so for somebody like me who has played the Ys series since I was a little kid in elementary school, I will say this. 7, 8, and 9 was a completely different take on the Ys series insofar as it introduced party members. It introduced party mechanics, and a 3-person on-field battling party, kind of like Secret of Mana. And it looks like they're going away from that for Ys 10. And it also says that Adolf's Age will have a surprising arrangement for older players, because he then later on said that his age was revealed to be around 17, which is around the time frame that Ys 1 and 2 took place in. So Ys 1 and 2, of course, was a solo adventure, and that took place in Asteria, which is essentially like the England of the Ys universe. That's where like the Tower of Darm was, and just like where it all began. So I think that it's probably going to be, a return to like the dual goddesses, Talia and Rhea and all that kind of stuff, Tafina, all of them. So I think it's just like a throwback to that time, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Maybe it's going to be a return to bump combat, too. I know a lot of people don't like bump combat, but I kind of like steamrolling all over my enemies and everything. I thought it was kind of fun, but that's just me. I think that it would be neat to go back and maybe like tie up some loose ends of things that happened back then. So yeah, I'm really pleasantly surprised by this announcement, and I am totally looking forward to some Ys 10 whenever more information about that drops. And here I am on the NIS online store to talk about the limited edition of Ys 9 that I just brought up. This is $90, like I said. It looks like there's plenty of stock left, and it looks like you're getting quite a bit of stuff here, which is kind of neat. Let's look through and see exactly what we get here. You get the game, of course. You get this nice boxed set right there, which is kind of like a prison shape, has like the prison bars and all that kind of stuff. I think that's kind of neat. We have Nails in the Coffin hardcover art book and the Ease 9 prequel, The Lost Sword short novel. You also get the soundtrack right there, James and Jameson's official soundtrack, it says. The Monstrum Mugshot 200-piece puzzle. And then right here, the Monsters of Balduck art card collection, like little wanted posters and stuff. So yeah, for all this stuff for only $90, I don't think that that's a terrible deal. It's not like it's, $190, which we'll talk about in a minute, or some crazy $200 thing like Square Enix likes to put out pretty often. So this, for what you get, it's not a bad deal. I will say so myself. Let's talk Harvestella. This is coming out next month, and I, for one, am really looking forward to it. I really like the demo. I made a review on the demo back when that first came out, and yeah, I had tons of good things to say about it. I really liked it. But Square Enix took feedback on the demo, and they're going to use that in order to improve the final game, which I feel like that should be standard practice for every single demo ever released. Like, seriously, they release a demo, they need to take feedback into account. They really, really do. It's coming out the 4th of November, and it says these are the various changes that are going to be applied. Reduced time-lapse speed on the world map and the field. Reduced hit time for fishing. Reduced cooldown time for job changes. It increased the mage's normal attack speed. Partially reduced loading time. There's an addition of a warning effect where the character's HP is low, and it modified UI during save and autosave, and then just some various bug fixes. So the time isn't going to be going by at like light speed like it used to. The loading time is reduced. It just seems like everything's just kind of quicker, just, more streamlined, which I can definitely get behind. Make a good game even better. Here we have an article on My Nintendo News saying that Legend of Heroes Trails in Reverie is launching in summer of 2023. So we know that Azure is coming out in March, and then that summer, Trails of Reverie is going to be coming out. And some of you may have already played Azure, like me. Trails of Reverie is going to be a brand new thing. And rather than kind of starting up its own series in its own country, it's more of a conclusion. It is going to be wrapping up the Cold Steel series. Although there was 4 games and Cold Steel 4 really should have wrapped it up, but whatever. It's also going to be wrapping up the Crossbell duology. Basically, it follows 3 heroes. It says 3 different fates are about to unfold in Legend of Heroes Trails to Reverie. Use the Crossroads system to switch between Reen Sworzer, Lloyd Bannings, and the masked figure C. I wonder who that could be. Dive into refined tactical combat and new features such as United Front, and discover new allies and challenges within the halls of the true Reverie corridor. So, yeah, I, for one, am looking forward to this. I got into Trails in the Sky way back on its release on the PSP back in like 2010, and I've been with this series for 13 freaking years now, and it doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon. I think that they said that like 60% of the way through this series. So, yeah, this is a long-running one. This is, takes some time to get into, but I do think that it is worth it. Now let's have a look at the collector's edition here. I'm back on the NIS online store, and there are 2 limited edition collector sets for Trails of Reverie. I know. There's one that costs $189.99, and there's another one that's much more reasonable, $99.99. So let's see what you get for this extra $90 that you have to spend on this one. Well, I'll tell you right now. Let's just cut to the chase. You get these 3 little plushie dolls. You get a doll of C, you get a doll of Lloyd, and you get a doll of Reen. Because as far as I'm aware, everything else is exactly the same between the 2 collector's editions. So it comes down to, do you want to spend $90 more to get some plush dolls, or do you want all the other stuff? That, to me, it seems rather steep to spend that much money on plushie dolls, but I know some of y'all out there really, really like them. I mean, it's a pretty cool collector's edition. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. Do I want to spend this much money on it, plus shipping? Probably not. I think myself, I'm going to go for this edition right here. And it comes with the box and the game, of course. It says, with Legend of Heroes Chosen Reverie, Legend of Zemuria hardcover art book, and 3 and 9, a Trail's Tale softcover novel. So same sort of thing here with the Ys 9 collector's edition insofar as like a little novella, an art book. There's also a soundtrack CD. Over here we get a steel book, has Reen on the front right there, kind of cool. Little demon Reen over there as well. And then the end of the beginning acrylic print, which I must say is rather gorgeous, I've got to say. So yeah, that's what you get for the $100 edition. The other one for $90 more, you get 3 extra little dolls. So yeah, you know, buy which one you want. But it looks like a lot of people are kind of agreeing with me because this one is selling out a lot more than the other one. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you're most excited about as far as this news is concerned. And if there's any news that you want me to cover in next week's video, let me know in the comments. And as always, have a good day.